Mountain biking is a fun, but also inherently risky activity, and sometimes mountain bikers can be exposed to risks that are beyond their own control. Did you know that landowners are under a legal duty to protect those that come onto their land from what's called foreseeable risk? If they fail to take mitigation steps to protect those from foreseeable risk, they could be negligent. So whilst we've established that landowners are under a common law duty of care, they are also under a statutory duty of care under the Occupiers Liability Scotland Act 1960. Now this act not only defines the scope of the duty of care, but also the nature of the duty of care that landowners owe to visitors who are using their land. And it's all about control. The Occupiers Liability Act tries to strike a balance between protecting the most vulnerable party and putting the biggest burden on the most powerful party, which is the landowner. In Scotland, we have wonderful access rights to land all over the place, but sometimes those access rights can come into contact with the liabilities owed by landowners to visitors. So we know that landowners have a duty to mitigate against risk, but how do they do that in practice? Well, trails like this here at Glen Tress have to be built to certain standards. They then have to be inspected at reasonably regular intervals and then maintained to ensure they're not degrading beyond what is a reasonably safe limit. For example, repairing damaged sections of trails, updating them as time goes on, and ensuring that drainage is correct is all part of mitigation for landowners. If they don't carry out these steps, then they can potentially be negligent. Another way landowners can mitigate against risk is through trail grading. But remember, just because you ride down the trail does not mean you accept the risk. If the trail isn't built towards certain standards, then again, the landowner can potentially be negligent. So what should you do if it happens to you? What if you're involved in a mountain bike accident that wasn't your fault? Well, the first most obvious thing to do is seek medical attention. If you can and are able to, it's always a good idea to get photographs of the piece of trail that you believe caused your accident. Witnesses can also be really helpful. The more witnesses you have to speak to events, the easier it might be able to be to prove liability on the part of the landowner. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, is to call Cycle Law Scotland. We offer free legal advice to anybody that telephones us because we offer that service to the cycling community. There's no obligation, and what have you got to lose?